guys, so I am going to start this Q&A, the Instagram Q&A that I posted. One of the first questions from Live Good, Feel Good, Look Good is how old were you when you got interested in this and started on this type of lifestyle? As far as like weight training goes and macros and all of that, I didn't really get into that until the beginning of 2013. I had just had my second son in May of 2012, and then was focusing on him for a while, and then decided I needed to do something for myself, and the only thing there was to do in Texas with no friends is work out. And so I started running, and then I started weight training, and then I started following fitness people, NPC, bikini competitors, and I thought, I want to do that, and started following Kara on YouTube and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So that's what I did. I was 27 when I started. How long did it take me? Whoops. To notice the changes? Well, if you go really, well, like at the beginning of my YouTube channel, you'll see the videos of like the changes and stuff. And then my progress pictures, my very first progress pictures. And a lot of you, I'm sure, have seen the bikini competing for beginners or something like that. And it shows you my progress pictures, and I really noticed within like 4 weeks big differences, and they call them newbie gains and stuff like that. Not everybody will see changes that quickly. Some people maybe even sooner. And then this time around I've gone through a couple of bulks, and this is my third cut, so I would say it wasn't until like today that I really noticed like bigger changes in my cut. But I mean, it depends on how drastic your dieting is and your exercise, and how, you know, much it varied from before you started whatever you're starting, you know, whatever program you're starting. You'll see big changes if you make big changes in your diet and your workout. So the next one is, do you believe in carb cycling? And I don't know if I would say believe is the right word, but I think any diet will work. It just depends on what works for you. Carb cycling is just a different way to break down your macros and your calories throughout the week. I know Kara likes carb cycling. She's done it in the past, and it's really worked for her. She likes having those high carb days, and she deals with the low carb days, and you know, she has good videos on carb cycling. So I haven't really done it. I like to have a steady amount of carbs a week and know exactly what I'm getting all week. And I don't really care about the high carb days because I don't want to deal with the low carb days. I currently am doing a lower carb day and then a higher carb day, and it's just whatever. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it works if you do it right, and if it works for you and your lifestyle and whatever. How did you find out that macros were best for you and your goals? Well, they're best for anybody in their goals as far as body composition go, and you know, anybody that's really watching their weight and their physique and, you know, body fat and stuff like that, because you need to know how many carbs, proteins, and fats that you're putting in your body. If you just go by calories, you can definitely reach some goals. If you have more intense goals like bikini competing and things like that, or bodybuilding competitions, then you're going to need to know a little bit more than just calories. If you are on a meal plan, then you're on a pretty steady macro plan as well. You may not know it, but you are. So everybody wants to build muscle and lose fat, and if you're building muscle, then you are also building fat. If you're losing muscle, if you're losing fat, you're also going to lose a little bit of muscle. So what you want to do is, they call it bulk when you're gaining muscle. You want to bulk in a way that maximizes your muscle gain and minimizes your fat gain at the same time, which for me, that's lean bulking. Watching my intake, making sure I'm eating enough to gain weight and to gain a certain amount of weight a week, and so that I don't gain too much fat, and I monitor my weight gain. I have a bulking video, so watch that, and then I actually posted it fairly recently. And then my cutting video does the same thing. Cut on as many calories as possible while still losing weight, so that you maintain as much muscle as you can. Do cardio that targets fat loss, because cardio will eat out your muscle, especially like long distance running and things like that. So I do HIIT, high intensity interval training. My coach has me doing Tabata as well, which is another high intensity type cardio. So look into that. Do you live close to Monterey or Sacramento? I actually live in Seaside, but it's right next to Monterey. Okay, this next one's from my little friend at the gym, Misfit Mallory. Handling prep and being a mom probably isn't that far off from anything else, except that you'd probably tend to lose your patience a little bit more because you have a little 3-year-old challenging your patience, like I do too, and you just have to like understand and know and feel when you're cranky or PMSing or whatever, and just try and be a little extra patient, or plan your day out where you can do things like not in a hurry, you know, where you can take your time a little bit more and give your son a little bit more time, or your child or whoever it is, a little bit more time to do things, because that's the hardest part for me, is having patience. It's the patience part. And so if, you know, we're going to eat in the morning, wake up early enough to get ready and not rush out the door, because as soon as like there's a time limit on it, then, you know, like as soon as you're in a time crunch, then everything intensifies along with, you know, and everything can kind of fold into one. So yeah, it's definitely frustrating, but you just find little ways to cope with it and manage your day without screaming your head off, and find a break for yourself, which is generally working out, you know, taking time for you and making sure that your son gets his naps so that you have an extra little break there. Do you currently train people? No, but I'm seriously considering it and got offered a job at my gym as a personal trainer. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just do that like a few hours here and there and get my feet wet and get some more experience and get their certification and then get NASM certified and then train some more people on my own and then do online training, but I don't know when I'm going to start doing it. I'm also thinking about, what I was thinking about doing is like taking on one person from social media and doing like a thing where you guys email me and I choose one, and hopefully one close, but not necessarily, for free, just for some experience. So we'll see. I don't know. I might soon. To be announced at a later date. No, I didn't do sports in high school. I don't consider cheerleading, or at least the type of cheerleading I did in high school, a sport, but I did do cheerleading. And then I also did, I was involved in ballet pretty seriously in high school. How long should a first-time show prep take? Depends on where you're at, for a super vague answer. But I think anybody that does it should give themselves a year at least. If you haven't been working out and you don't really know, you know, give yourself a year, figure it out, learn the ins and the outs, and then apply it, and give yourself plenty of time to do it. I would say as far as a cut goes, should be about 14 weeks at least for your first time, so you have time to wiggle around. And then as far as bulking, if you haven't gained muscle, definitely give yourself at least a good amount of bulking time, like 5 months or something crazy. How do you feel about full body workouts twice a week versus a 6-day split? For health, you need at least 3 days. I mean, any working out is good, but I would say at least a minimum of 3 days a week for working out. And if you want to do a show prep, then I would do a 6-day split, because you need to focus more on your bodybuilding and every muscle group, not just overall health. Do you have any tips, advice on perfecting squat form? Yes, go to Super Training 06 on YouTube. It's Mark Bell's channel. He's awesome. His right-hand man, Silent Mike, works with Omar Isaf, and Omar has a good channel also. Really like everything that they say and what they say to do. And my personal tips would be to stay tight, keep your core nice and tight, really flex those ab muscles, keep everything tight though, your shoulders, your back, just really strong foundation, and keep your spine neutral, tuck in your chin, keep your chest up, and, you know, make sure you have good flexibility, wear nice shoes. If you're going heavy, protect your joints, wear some knee sleeves and a belt. But don't do it if you're just going light, then you won't need that. But, you know, I'm all about preserving your joints. And let's see what else. You got to play around with your stance. Some people stand a little closer, but I do a little bit wider than hips length apart. And don't look in the mirror, because sometimes that throws you off. Really try and feel what you're doing. What's your biggest pet peeve in fitness related or in general? In general, I would say the way people eat is really annoying. I can't stand listening to people chew, especially when they chew with their mouths open. And fitness related, my biggest pet peeve right now for fitness is that women haven't fully found their place in fitness, that the fitness industry focuses more on the sexual aspect of women instead of like more of a strong, hardworking, you know, it's not everything, but most of it, you know. I feel like it's broken up into like, you know, the sexy girls that kind of do fitness, and then the strong girls that aren't as sexy and just kind of big and bulky, and you know, but there's like a happy medium in it, and that there's a place for everybody, and you don't have to necessarily be broken up in those two groups. The strong women are beautiful too, and the quote-unquote sexy women with the big boobs are also hardworking and should be taken seriously. So I guess that kind of bugs me. And then also the weight room, how it's like there's a woman in the weight room and it's this big deal. Well, it shouldn't be, because it's for everybody, you know? More women in the weight room. How tall am I? 5'5". My favorite thing to do to build legs and glutes are squats, weighted lunges, lifting heavy, pelvic raises like thrusters, and just constantly pushing the weight, because if you want to keep your muscle, you better push hard. Who do you listen to while working out? I listen to Eminem and other like rapper type people, and I listen to Rob Bailey and the Hustle Standard, especially on squat day. Just did my first NBC show. Where's your question? How did you start posing and how did you perfect it? Just started researching it, looking online, looking at what everybody else is doing. And then I got a posing coach, personal session, an hour long. And that was helpful, but not too helpful. I think more just like standing in front of the mirror and figuring out what works best for me and what I'm most comfortable with. What languages do you speak? English, a little bit of Spanish. I would love to be fluent in Spanish. I would love to be fluent in every language because I run into it in my job and I wish I could communicate and it sucks. Basically, this question is tips on how to stay healthy and everything when you're out barbecuing in the summer days and stuff like that. And what you have to do is, bring your own food. And if you're throwing the barbecue, then have food for everybody else, but then bring your lean stuff. If you're going to have a burger, bring your lean burger, but bring other burgers for everybody else, because it does get expensive, like she mentions, and you just have to get your mind right because it's all in your head, and then that's when you have your willpower. Is it possible to continue to put on muscle even in a caloric deficit? Tips on maintaining muscle while cutting. I addressed this already in my bulking and cutting video, so go back and watch it. Do you foam roll and stretch, and when do you do it? Yes, I have in the past, but I've been really, really bad at it, and you should do it before and after you work out. Kara Corey, Fit Life, chiming in. She says, what made you decide to choose a coach for this prep, and how does it compare so far to prepping on your own? So what made me choose it is that I had my own thing set up for my prep last show. I didn't follow it. I cheated. I focused on the if it fits part of macro counting and just ate too much crap and was too flexible on myself, too lenient with myself. And then the closer I got to the show, I felt really lean and I felt like everything was coming together. But then I was like, I'm too lean. I think I can eat more. So I started increasing my calories and then ultimately came in too soft. So I just feel like having a coach will make me stick to the program a lot better, and it has so far, and it's been different because I have to put my trust in him and I have to, put my prep in his hands, and that just freaking hasn't been fun for me because I like to have control of what's going on, and I feel like I'll know my body better than anybody will know my body, and so trying to communicate with him and get the best fit has been frustrating for me, but I'm doing it, and it's getting better. It's like getting a lot better, especially this last week, because there were some things I didn't really necessarily agree with, and then I'm like, oh, okay. After a few weeks, I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine. But yeah, it's been a little frustrating. But overall, I'm happy with my decision, and I'm really excited to see the final tie-in, because I think he knows what he's doing. How far in advance did you start training for your first comp? I feel like there's a lot of these same questions. I'm not really sure. It was about a year. It was going to be sooner, but it was a year. And I think I did like a 14-week cut or a 12-week cut for my first comp. Yeah, I've never gotten injured, so I don't know about recovery and stuff as far as that goes, but my advice would be heat and ice and relaxation, and if you're really truly injured, then don't do anything stupid to permanently damage yourself. And that's my last question, so this wasn't too boring. I just woke up from my nap and decided to do it. And check this out, guys. That is my view from my bedroom door. Isn't that awesome? Military housing, what, shout out. Hashtag Navy. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you right now, and I will see you next video. Bye.